Now, just before you close your eyes and enter a deeply relaxing hypnotic trance, I'm just going to talk a little bit about why we become self-conscious and how good life becomes when we begin to think and care less about what we imagine other people think about us. Self-consciousness can make you act unnaturally or be stilted, and then you feel quite uncomfortable inside. It's that horrid feeling that everyone's watching you, judging you, you're the unwanted centre of attention, and it stops you being spontaneous and in the moment. Yes, of course, we have to take heed to some extent of what others might think of us. That's part of politeness and consideration. To have no care at all for what others think of us would render us obnoxious and antisocial. But to be constantly self-conscious around others mean that we become afraid to speak our minds, to try something new, or to enjoy ourselves fully. Human beings are the only creatures on earth to be self-conscious. None of the animals worry about how they're coming across or whether other animals think them stupid or ugly. Self-conscious people use their own imaginations against themselves. They assume they can mind-read what others must be thinking, and they assume their assumptions are correct. In fact, of course, most people are much busier thinking about themselves than about you. But that's not the point. You might know this intellectually. This session will get you feeling it. Self-consciousness makes you think in very black or white, all or nothing terms. Internal statements like, they hate me, or I'm making a total fool of myself, are so extreme because they are driven by the emotional brain. When you begin to calm down, then your thinking becomes less extreme and more moderate. You stop assuming other people must be thinking the worst of you. Why? Because when you're calmer, you stop thinking so much, or I should say, imagining so much, about other people's perceptions and focus on your own instead. Because you really do know how to relax and be yourself when alone or with particular people, it's just that you haven't brought that ability to bear in other situations where, up to now, you had been feeling self-conscious. So now, as you prepare to go into a deeply relaxing trance, I'd like you to just close those eyes, if you haven't already done so, and take in a nice deep breath through your nose. That's it. Filling the lungs and then exhaling slowly and smoothly through your mouth. Just noticing how the air feels cooler on the inhale and warmer on the exhale. That's it. And the growing relaxation that's just beginning to flow through the body can be something you can amplify yourself here and now by just imagining that the air around the body is of a particularly special quality, that it is pure relaxation that surrounds the skin and soaks into it, that each breath you take of that air is a breath of pure relaxation that flows deep into the muscles of that body, allowing your arms and legs to relax, the muscles of the face to soften, the muscles of the shoulders to loosen, and the relaxation of that air can deepen into an aura of relaxation surrounding you. That's it. Relaxing the scalp muscles, creating a gentle tingling sensation in the fingertips, or perhaps in the toes, as you relax all the way down, taking another deep, full breath. That's it. And this time, as you exhale, you can just get the sense of floating right out of yourself in a sort of out-of-body experience. and drift some way away, looking back at you relaxing over there, and just notice the calm and comfortable expression on that face, the rise and fall of that chest over there. That's it. As you go all the way into a comfortably focused trance, as you relax deeper, just listening to the story as I tell you about a man who was walking down the street to a party and feeling ever so self-conscious, worrying whether he'd chosen the right clothes and worrying whether he'd have anything to say, and arriving at that party and being welcomed by the host could hardly distract him from his worries, as he heard the murmur and laughter of conversation around the room and saw other people become aware he had arrived, and he wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake, and if he really should make his excuses after one drink and leave. And as he was thinking about this, the host handed him a glass of wine and introduced him to a curious-looking guest, a storyteller whose hair was turning grey, but whose eyes were strangely young. And the storyteller extended his hand and warmly introduced himself. And you know what it's like when you become completely absorbed in a fascinating conversation and you just lose all sense of time, because this is so very interesting, and really learn at some unconscious level, as the storyteller explained, that when you change, your mind understands how to learn new things. And the story he chose to tell about the way you change inside was of 6 scholarly blind men in ancient India, and they were summoned by the king to offer him their wisdom and explain a strange beast some soldiers had captured, which was being kept in a large room beside the palace. And the 6 blind scholars were taken to the beast and left alone to make of it what they could. And because of their education and knowledge, they were confident they would soon be able to explain all aspects of this beast. And so the first scholar felt the side of the beast with his hands, and it was very broad and rough. And he exclaimed to the others, like this beast was very like a wall. And the second scholar felt a smooth, hard tusk, and gave his opinion that the beast was much more like a spear. While the third felt the tail of the beast, and was compelled to conclude that this beast was most rope-like. The fourth scholar put his arms right round a thick, sturdy leg, and at once announced that it was just like a tree. The fifth felt the long, flappy ears and declared it to be without doubt just like a fan. And the sixth and last caught hold of the trunk of the beast and called out, "No, it is clearly a snake." And of course that beast is no mystery to you, because you know what an elephant looks like. And you know what those wise scholars could not see. And that elephant was always more than the qualities the blind scholars could perceive. And that is always true, is it not? Because as the storyteller finished his tale, he gestured for the man to look around at the other people at the party, and he suddenly saw something strange and fascinating about them. Because as he looked at them, he realized that although they had eyes, they were all as blind as those 6 blind scholars when it came to seeing each other, and when it came to seeing him. For although they could perceive one part of him, they could never see all of him. And the realization sank deep into his awareness that people only ever see one part of you. Perhaps the work part, the social part, the relaxed part, the funny part. But you are more than any of these. And you can always know that inside you have depths of possibility and resourcefulness, more profound than anyone can ever fully know. And as his awareness of the blindness of the partygoers grew, he began to feel so much more free and safe to chat and laugh, to introduce himself to all the people. And whenever you meet people, they are always partly blind to the depths of who you are, becoming so much more confident and focused on what it is you're doing here, is learning that when you focus fully on the activity you're engaged in, whether it's socializing or working, and you give all your attention to the other people, to the activity itself, and you forget about yourself, so you can go fully into flow, and your unconscious mind knows what it's like when you're doing something you really love, a hobby, a sport, even reading a book or watching a film. And you become totally absorbed in what you're doing. And you forget about yourself. And as you feel this intensify right now, a sense of deeply focused absorption, you can just bring your thumb and forefinger together on whichever hand feels right. That's right. And as they touch, you can really feel this focus intensify further. And it can feel so very good, can it not? To really become one with the experience you're having. And as you absorb that, I'd like you to just allow that thumb and finger to drift apart again. That's it. As you drift even deeper down into such comfortable rest. And then I'd like you to bring to mind someone you're comfortable with, or a pet you enjoy playing with, or a time you are laughing with a friend, and notice how that feels when your attention is all external, out there on what is happening, and you're really enjoying the experience, immersing yourself in the fun of it. That's it. And as this feeling gets stronger, I'd like you to bring that same thumb and finger together and really connect with your experience of focusing externally. And feeling good. That's it. You can feel that feeling grow stronger still. Learning at the unconscious level how to make a change that can stay with you, flourishing in the days and weeks and months ahead. And as you allow that finger and thumb to drift apart again, and you take a slightly deeper breath and float back down into the rest of this soothing comfort. That's it. I'd like you to bring to mind a future you want to experience. The reality of watching a you over there some short time in the future, being in a situation that once would have made you self-conscious. And as you watch this new resourceful you be so very much more confident, so free and easy, I'd like you to give that thumb and finger a little squeeze, focusing fully on the activity you're doing, feeling good, knowing that others are always blind to the full reality of you, and secure in the knowledge that you can go fully into flow. And just notice the posture of this future you, the experience on your face. The difference is this new focus and flow is going to make to you. And then with that finger and thumb still together, you can just step right inside this future and make it honestly and fully a reality on every level of your being, as you experience and feel what it's going to be like in this future situation. How delightfully natural and easy you feel, knowing you can really enjoy being with people, finding out about them, and knowing that because they're always partially blind to the totality of you, you can feel truly safe in going into flow as you really relax into this future time and notice how many benefits this creates for you and those people you're with. And before you return to the here and now, wide awake and alert, you can consider all the other benefits this is going to produce in your life, in different situations, with different people. Benefits you never even expected or imagined. And each time you listen to this, you might want to deepen your new confidence further by choosing new situations to imagine and practice in. As that thumb and finger drift apart, you can notice the position of your hands and feet and prepare to come back wide awake. You can begin to orientate yourself to the here and now. That's it. Just becoming more aware of the position of your arms and legs, noticing the sensation of whatever's supporting your body. And then whenever you're ready, you can just allow your eyes to open. Good.